Welcome everybody. Hey Vicky, it's great to see you again.
Nice to be here.
And if you are joining us for the first time, it's good to have you back here with us. We have some live audience joining us, and we have some folks who are watching this on replay. So this is the Win Government Contract Podcast. And if you are looking to win government contracts, this is the place to be, where every week we get together and we talk about how to win government contract from a strategic perspective, a tactical perspective, and more important than that is a practical perspective. And so we don't just talk about theories or principles, but we actually talk about how to actually execute these things here for your business. So if you're joining us online, thank you for joining us live. And then for all of you who are watching this on replay, it's good to have you join us on replay as well. So we have our entrepreneur, Vicky. She is, I've been coaching her and helping her with a company for the last few months. And so she's making good progress. And so today, what we're going to be talking about is we're going to talk about a few key things: how her teaming partnerships are coming along. And we're talking about what is teaming, how that's coming along. We're also going to talk about best long term strategies. We were going to talk about that last week, but we didn't get a chance to talk about that last week. And so this week we'll talk about best long term strategies for your business in the government market. And then for those of you who's joining us live, we will also have time for you to ask questions. And all throughout the whole process here, if you have questions related to any specific topic, feel free to chime on in and ask questions as well. Because we're here not only for Vicky's company, but we're here for your business as well. Vicky's company just happens to be the one that I'm coaching live to all of you. And then if your business, you're here, we're here to help you as well. So with that, Vicky, let's go ahead and dive in and talk about where are you in terms of your teaming, and you got a little bit of good news to share with us. But as you cue that up in a second, I want to kind of share with everybody what is teaming and why teaming is important. So teaming in the government market, 70% of government contracts or federal contracts require two or more companies to work together. So naturally, you're going to work with other companies to be successful in the federal marketplace. And if you don't have subcontractors, teaming partners, joint venture partners, mentor protege partners, then you're going to feel, you're going to be lacking on certain type of opportunities out there. You need past performances. You need resumes that you may not have a deep bench. You need program managers, project managers. You need courier services. You need whatever industry you're in. There's different areas that you, as a small business owner, you have holes, you have gaps. You don't have a bench like big companies do, where they have people just sitting around waiting to get into projects. You are the project manager. You are the commode director. You're the CEO of the company, and you take out the trash yourself. So with that said, you need teaming partners to fill the gaps of different opportunities that's out there. And so, Vicky, how's it coming with you looking for teaming partners, and share with us a little bit update, and I can give you some feedback on that.
So, Abe, I took your advice on as far as emailing the other courier companies. Haven't heard back yet, but I do have teaming, uh, hopefully, a teaming partner. I did send out my NDA and the teaming agreement. I sent out one last night, and right now I'm just
Mhm.
waiting to hear back uh, from the individual.
Okay. So you spoke to them; they agreed to be your teaming partner.
That is correct.
Okay, awesome. That's good. The so what's their website? Let's talk a little about what is it in a teaming partner? What are the characteristic? What are the value that you look for in a teaming partner? So if you could get that queued up in a second, I'm going to share with everybody the principles of what is it that you're looking for for someone to, what value is it from a teaming partner? Because many of you as a small business owner, you don't have all the strengths. You don't have every single thing you need to perform on a project. So you always need other people to work with. And so I'm going to share with everybody some principles, and then we're going to use those principles as it relates to Vicky's company. And if you're joining us live, I want you to think through your own company as well. Do you have enough teaming partners? Do you have subcontractors to support you on bigger projects? And do you have them mainly to support you with past performances so that you can bid on opportunities? Every project, I would say, requires typically about 3 references or 3 past performances. So if you don't have that, then you need teaming partners. And so what are the characteristic that you need in a teaming partner? So I'm gonna share my screen with everybody, and we're gonna talk about. So I'm gonna go to. We have a program called Teaming Co-op, and I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna talk about what do you need to look for, right? So these are the key things you need from a potential teaming partner. You want them to have relationships to complement your own relationships that you have. So for example, relationship has to do with many different type of relationships here. So for example, you might be strong with city government contracts. You need somebody that have more relationship with federal contracting officers, federal directors, program directors, and so forth. You might need relationships. A teaming partner might bring relationship with other vendors. They might bring relationship with other partners. So relationship, you want somebody to have certain type of relationship that you don't have. And so this is great. If you're joining us live, thanks for joining us. And if you could put in the chat area um, your company name and where you're joining us from, that gives me a little bit more perspective. And we are here for you as well. Although we're talking about Vicky's company, we want to provide value to you for joining us live as well. So if you have questions along this way, please type in your questions and we will get to your questions as well. And typically we reserve some time for you guys to ask any questions you want as we do the podcast here. So second thing is you need a teaming partner that brings past performance. You also need a teaming partner that brings in management capabilities. Management capabilities in the sense that you you're limited as a small business how many team members you have, and so some projects might require a resume of someone that have 10 years experience. So instead of recruiting that person to add to your teaming partner may have someone that already have those skills as well. So you need someone to have technical solutions, someone that understands deeper insight into certain things. So, for example, um, Vicky, you're interested in pursuing uh, administrative management contracts, and to write the management and the technical solutions to that, you may have less experience, and somebody else may have more experience around that. There, I see some of you guys putting in your company name. Okay, I see someone from Virginia Beach. Oh, awesome, beautiful there. We have another person from the World Trade Center up in New York. Thank you for joining us. And then we have Maria with us from Connecticut. Okay, it's good to have some of you join us from all around the U.S. I'm based here in Atlanta. Vicky is in Minnesota. And so the wonderful world of post COVID, the world is at our fingertips now. It's one Zoom away, one Google Meet away. So thanks for joining us. And if you're joining us, if you're just joining us now, if you could put in the comment your company name and where you're based out of, that would be awesome. You also coming back. You also need someone that has understands pricing, especially if you're going into a industry that you have less expertise in. Someone else may have more expertise in that, so you're developing your pricing strategy and you need to understand so you can be competitive. Sometimes you need another teaming partner that have certifications that you don't have. They may have WSB and you're not a WSB company. They may have SDWSB. If you want to do work for the VA, you need a partner, a teaming partner that has SDVSB or at a minimum VOSB certification. And then there are many other factors, right? You need someone that have understanding about compliance, whether it's DCA or whether it's cybersecurity compliance. Sometimes you need somebody that have professional licenses, certain type of ISO standards, quality standards, maybe some top secret clearances. Insurance, we were bidding on a project with a team of companies, and the contract officer asked that they have a $4 million general liability insurance policy. Well, their policy is only $2 million. So you need somebody that a teaming partner that have more insurance or more bonding capabilities than you have, and the financial capabilities and many other factors. So these are a quick overview of the different type of value that you want to look for in a teaming partner. Now, this is not an exhaustive list, right? This is just a quick summary of different things that you're looking for in a teaming partner. So with that said, Vicky, of these things here, based upon the company that you are looking at as a potential teaming partner, how do they meet some of these criteria?
So the company that I am teaming with does have relationships with government. They do have past performance. They do have also management team technical solutions, and I believe they might have some business certifications. So the pricing strategies is something that I could bring to the table from GCA.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Good. So why don't you? So I'm gonna stop sharing. Why don't you share your screen and let's look at their website. I'm gonna uh, guide you through a process of how to vet teaming partners a little bit more, and then we're gonna talk about your NDA and your general teaming agreement. And then after that, we're gonna see how your email campaigns coming along and reach out to teaming partners.
Okay.
Now, tell me how while you're pulling up their website, tell me how you got connected to this company.
Got connected to the company through actually a longtime friend um, whom I actually had worked with in the past.
Okay.
Um,
Well, we have
Sorry.
somebody joining us live here. Their company is called Lanyap Express Shipping Courier Services, located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So, Vicky, that's a potential teaming partner for you as well, right? Because you're doing courier services. So,
Exactly.
Lanyap, that's perfect.
Um,
Now, if you don't know
there
what
you go.
Lanyap is,
I'm hoping you can see that.
yep, we can see it.
Okay.
Oh, now we're in the Affinity view. Click on yeah, okay. Okay, so let's look at this here. Let's go back to the site, their website. You might not be able to see me for a second while you're sharing their screen, but go back to the website tab for them. Okay.
Okay. Can you see
All
that?
right. So bridging the gap between business and organic success. Okay, so this gives us a little bit about who they are. Click on services. Yep, I think it's coming. So the company is called Valley Marketing Institute.
I'm sorry,
And
my computer's a little slower. Maybe it's this service.
all right, so we offer a palette of services intricately designed to navigate today's digital landscape. Okay. And they do content creation, social media management, content scheduling. So they're a digital marketing agency doing different areas of advertising and audience engagement, SEO. Okay. So tell me, um, your goal is to team with them to do marketing and uh, focus more on your administrative management and marketing side of what you want to do. Is that the purpose of why you're engaging Valley?
I'm actually engaging them in the educational arena,
Ah, okay. So pull up education.
training and education.
Yep. So that's good. So pull up education page. Just while this is pulling up, I love the name Lanyap, and because you can really do some great marketing with that name there. Okay, so let's see here. They do learn at your own pace. Your go-to repository for knowledge. Okay, so they're a interactive learning for the digital era. Okay, so they do curriculum development, training, learning management systems, and other things as well. Okay, so they got two core focus.
That
One
is
is,
correct.
yep, all right, and they click on partners. Let's see what type of partners they have. And then scroll down a little bit. Let's see. Okay, so they got, all right, so different type. Okay, so this is good. All right, so you can stop sharing now. I'm going to take a deeper look into how you can continue to evaluate a potential teaming partner. And so let me move this out of the way. Okay, so Valley Marketing Institute. And they are based out of California. Um, all right, now I do have a few. So for someone that teaches digital marketing, right? How many followers do they have on Instagram? How many followers do they have on LinkedIn, on Facebook? Now, let's just take a look, right? Right. So I'm not super excited about this company. Why? What do they do, Vicky?
Marketing.
Right? And they only have 10 followers. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not a good teaming partner, but the first rule is eat your own. If you cook some, test your food, make sure it's good, right? You got to make sure that what you're practicing, what you're teaching also. So I'm a little concerned for a social media company that they're not practicing the things that they teach, right? Or the things that they do for other people. So that's my first thought. Again, it's not necessarily a bad company. Doesn't mean it's a bad company. It just means that there's some red flags. So let's go look at one of their person here. All right. So the first rule to social media and marketing is that you use a real picture, because people connect with people. People don't connect with a icon. Uh, you know, a you know icon that is populated by they got zero activity. Yeah, and this is the vice president of the institute. So I do have some concern about how strong they really are around the social side. Now they might be strong on the education side, but as a digital marketing company and a educational company, I do have some red flags here. And this is just a quick look, right? Now we look at TikTok and they got 3.2 million posts. So maybe this is where they're strong at, you know. So Valley Marketing Institute. Well, no, this is just a whole bunch of other stuff. Um, so again, I'm not saying don't not a good fit, but I'm saying there's some red flags as you're vetting out your potential teaming partner here. Now, the truth test is this here. I want to see if they want any government contracts. I'm going to go to USA spending, and you have to vet out all your teaming partners to, if and not again, not that they're not a good teaming partner, just that you know exactly who they are, so that you can determine their weaknesses and their strengths, and you can leverage um, them appropriately. So if I'm looking in here, right, as it relates to, they won no federal contracts, so no contracts. They have one loan, right? So they got a $25,000 loan during COVID, and so this is probably a EIDL or PPP loan, um, or it might even be a small business. It might be just a SBA guarantee loan or something like that. So from a website perspective, okay. From a digital footprint perspective, doesn't look that strong. And so I would say proceed with some red flags. And again, if you're approaching them from, and then their last post was in May, right? Oh, July. Okay, so the last post is July. So as a digital agency, you should post about 3 times a week minimum. Um, February, so they're posting less than once a month. So just some thoughts for you to just to food for thought. But assuming whether it's this company or any other company, um, we want to go in here and we want to, once you find the right company. Right now that company is a little iffy for me, and so but it's up to you. You're the business owner, so I can only share with you what I observe from an outside perspective. I don't know the owner. You have a more established relationship with them, and so you have to use your best judgment. But I'm looking, if I'm looking for a teaming partner, I'm looking for a certain skill set. And as your coach, Vicky, I will just speak um, what I see, and then you, as the entrepreneur, have to make your own decision who's a good teaming partner for you. But once you find a good teaming partner, then you have to come here. You have to go and let's talk about these agreements here. One is you need an NDA, and then you need a general teaming agreement. These are the two documents that we want to start with. And so the NDA We call it government contracting, and government contracting is normal. So if somebody asks you to sign an NDA, don't get offended. Like, don't you trust me? We've known each other for. No, it's government contracting. So it's not about trust or not. It's about contracts, and it's okay to have contracts to sign NDA. It's just normal. It's just part of the process. Now, what I like is I don't like NDAs that's heavy-handed. The NDA, now, just a little disclaimer. If you want a copy of this here, I can provide you a copy of this NDA. In fact, I will do that in a second. Um, we provide this here as a resource. So we're not a law firm, and so use it at your own discretion. Seek professional guidance, before you use it. So that's my little legal disclaimer. But this is the same document that many of our members and clients have used in the past. So I can't say I can vouch for it, but I can say that it's been used, more than a few times. So you come in here, you mutual confidentiality agreement means that if you ask me to do this, I'm asking you to do the same thing. We both agree to the same terms. Now, there's some NDA out there that's very heavy-handed by from one party to the other party. And this is mutual, meaning that it's true for both of us. If you expect this from me, I expect this from you. It's very mutual in that regard. So this is the document that you want to use. And so you would just come in here, change the date, fill in the blanks here, read through it to see if you want to change anything else. And so this will be the NDA that you would use after you get professional help. Again, because I'm not an attorney. So um, this is one tool. And then let's look at the other tool, right? The general teaming agreement. Now, I'm going to spend a few more seconds talking about the general team agreement because this is an important document for all of you. And these are good things for you guys. You're joining us live and you get these bonuses. And so every week when you join us, we give out all these freebies, right? For you to go to an attorney and say, hey, give me a teaming agreement. The last teaming agreement that I did with an attorney with two companies I'm working with, they charge them $3,500 to create a team agreement. And you guys joining us, you get it as a bonus just for joining us. So, and for some of you that this is the Gov Fast Track software. It has all these different resources in here already. If you're interested, like, hey, how do I get access to the Gov Fast Track? Gov Fast Track is here. Just go to govfasttrack.com and you have access to all the resources that that Vicky has. So coming back to the agreement, so let me pull up the mutual or the general team agreement. So let's dive in deeper into the general team agreement here. So the general team agreement, sometimes we call it a specific team agreement, or in the industry, sometimes they call it a CTA, a contractor teaming agreement. And this here just means that the general team agreement is different from the CTA or the specific team agreement. The general team agreement is exactly what it is. It's a broad agreement that says two parties are coming together to pursue opportunities. That's really what it says. And it says that the party understand that this team agreement is not exclusive, meaning that you can work with other companies to pursue other contracts if you want. That each company have different capabilities, and we're bringing these capabilities together. And the team agreement has been entered so that the party may enjoy the benefits of the other teaming partners' capabilities, and to exploit these capabilities to complement, enhance, and expand the existing capabilities within the respective parties. And then the parties shall define a contractor prime and a subcontractor role at a future date. So you're saying we're coming together, but we haven't decided who's going to be the prime, who's going to be the sub. It depends on which project we go after, and we will put together a specific teaming agreement in the future. That's what this says here. And then you also grant permission to use each other's capability statements for the benefit of both companies. You give permission to use logos and your brand for marketing to primes and agencies, um, and that you're going to use it in a manner that's not going to violate any laws. And so this is a good uh, example of a general team agreement. So you'll need this here, Vicky. You need to come in here, and you may have already done it, but if you have not, you need to complete all this here. And usually, for the speed of time, I usually send the NDA, the mutual agreement, and the general team agreement at the same time, um, so they can review it and then they can make a decision. But if a business partner, some larger companies, they may be hesitant to sign a general team agreement. But like I was talking to a company, they do about $500 million a year, and they say, yeah, we don't have a problem signing a general team agreement. Some do, some don't. But if they're willing to sign a general team agreement, because this is just saying we're coming together to work and pursue project. There's no obligations outside of that for a general team agreement. So if somebody's don't want to sign this, sir, that doesn't mean that they're not going to be a good teaming partner. It just means that maybe um, they're not all that serious. That's really all that means. So, Vicky, any questions or comments about this, sir? And then for all of you joining us live, any questions about the general team agreement or the mutual non-disclosure? And while you guys are asking questions, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the documents so that you guys can have access to it.
And yes, I do. Actually, this was a question that I had last week, which kind of disappeared. So,
Mhm.
how long should you keep a teaming agreement with a certain company? And for government contracting purposes, is there a time limit for teaming agreements?
Um, the general teaming agreement, you can do it for 2 years, 3 years, or 12 months. It's up to you for the general teaming agreement. The specific teaming agreement is specific to the project. So if the project is a 3-year project, then you're on that, that agreement lasts for 3 years. If the project is 6 months, it lasts for 6 months. But the general team agreement that we just looked at here, you want to do it for I generally a minimum of 12 months. I wouldn't recommend doing
Okay.
anything that is shorter than that. All right, so this is the link to the non-disclosure. Any other questions?
I don't have any more.
Okay, so let me give you guys the general team agreement. So all right, so you guys should have in the chat. Go ahead and uh, get a copy of that for yourself so that you can use it as a template or as a guide to help you with your business. Any questions from anybody about these two documents here? If not, I'm going to continue. Every teaming partner that you have out there, you should have an NDA and a general teaming. General teaming agreement is more. Maybe not every teaming partner you meet with is comfortable signing a general teaming agreement, but every single company you're working with, you should have an NDA, and because that just allows you to speak more openly and create a more trusted environment. Here's
I
my
do have a
opinion about
question.
agreements. Yeah.
So, based on experience, how many teaming partners would you recommend a company have?
Teaming partners, as many as you can handle. The more, the better. like, you want to do courier services, right? You should have a courier service company that have capabilities from a regional perspective that you're interested in, and you should also have a courier company that has national capabilities, because you're going to find,
Okay.
there's going to be opportunities that's more regional, there's going to be opportunity that's more national, and you want to be able to cover both. And you may want to have two or three companies that can do national services and two or three that can do regional, for every niche market that you specialize in.
Alrighty.
Okay. Um, let's shift gears a little bit. Let's talk about email marketing. So we talked about you um, emailing and building your list of other teaming partners. How's that coming along in terms of your campaigns? And okay, Takia, thank you for joining us
So,
from Atlanta. Awesome. And go ahead, Vicky.
so I did the very first email um, going out and haven't heard anything. And this is just for local couriers. I haven't done national.
Okay. All right. How many emails did you send up?
The ones that I had put on my list
Okay. So
of
how many?
100.
About 100. Okay. The
I believe there was only on my list. I think I had like five or six of them.
okay. The okay, Vicky, I'm going to say this here, and I'm going to step on your toes a little bit. Not because I'm insensitive, but I'm going to say this here for your benefit. If you do the minimal, you're going to get the minimal results. If when I say, hey, create a list of potential courier so that you can build some teaming partners, five is a starting point, but you should have a list of about 20, 30, 40 companies, and you should email all of those as potential teaming partners to you. Um, as a coach, I can I can say this is the direction you should go, and I'm going to give you the first few steps. And if you only do the few steps that I share with you, you're not going to go far. If I say this is the direction, and let me kind of give you illustration. I can say, you see the top of the mountain. Our goal is to get to the top of the mountain. And I'm going to give you a machete. I'm going to give you some good boots. And you may have to go down two or three valleys. You may have to cut down two or three trees on your way to the top of the mountains. But I can't tell you how many trees you have to cut down because I don't know. I've taken other people in different paths to get to the top of the mountain, but you have to charter your own path. And if you only cut down five trees, that may not be enough for you to get to the top of the mountain. So I want you to don't do the minimal. If I suggest, because as a coach, I can't I'm not in a place to command you to do something because you are the CEO of your own company. So you tell yourself what to do, right? And this is a big shift. For many of you who are entrepreneurs, especially if you're newer as a business owner, the shift when you are an employee working for somebody else tells you, they tell you what to do. When you are the CEO of your own company, there's nobody else that's going to tell you what to do. You have to tell yourself, I need to do this here, and I'm going to do more than the other person. If you work 40 hours a week for somebody else, by George, for your own company, you're working 60, 70 hours a week. If you're willing to work 40 hours for somebody else to build their goals and their profit for your own profit, you should 60, 70, 80 hours. I remember, I've started multiple companies. So some of you who's joining us, guess, take a guess. And if whoever guessed the closest, I will give you a private coaching session. How many companies have I started? Any guess out there? Any guess? How many companies have I started? Anybody willing? No one's guessing. Nobody wants a private coaching session. Okay, all right. I gave you guys a chance. Okay, so
I
Olanagi.
think we have somebody.
Okay, someone said 50. Anybody else? Anybody else, have an answer? How many companies have I started? Okay. Another person said 15. Anybody else? Last call. Oh, Miss Ellis, she's putting multiple answers. uh, Lanyap, put your Lanyap Express Shipping, put your email in the chat because Vicky and Vicky put your email in there. You guys need to catch up with each other because you guys can potentially team on some projects together. So, all right. So I'm gonna share with you guys. Give me one sec. Okay. So I'm gonna share with you. Oops. All right. So this is the very first company I started when I was about 20 years old. This is my office furniture company here. This is my second version, and this is my investment company here. Um, I've got a whole. I keep all my old business cards. All my old business cards are in here somewhere, and so all together, I started 26 companies. I've sold two businesses. Some of them, most of them, have been failures, but I've learned a lot about entrepreneurship. I've learned a lot about small business enterprise. Currently, I run two companies. One is the Government Contract Association, and one is GovGenie. And so the but the benefit to that, Vicky, is I take all of these different failures and all of these different success stories, and I get to help you and guide you through your own journey. And so my experiences becomes your experience. So JT said 25. All right. So JT, if you want a private coaching session with me, I'm going to put my email in the chat. And if you just send me a email and says the subject line should be, I won the private coaching session. And then be more than happy to give you an hour of my time to talk about your business and help you on your contracting journey. But 26 companies, that's a lot of experiences, lots of lessons learned there. And so, Vicky, for your own company, go above and beyond. If I suggest 3 steps, you should go 10, 15 steps. That's how you're going to be successful. Okay, so let's come back. So let's talk about your email campaigns. You haven't heard anything back because you need to do more. Now, practically, what was the specific email that you used? Because I want everybody to kind of learn a little bit from the email that we crafted for your business as well. You want to share one of the emails, and so that people kind of learn from that process. Share your email. If you could pull it up, share your screen. And because we're not talking about theories, right? We're talking about practical. And so these are very practical things that we're doing here. And I don't talk about go get a general team agreement, right? I give you a template to work from. I don't talk about NDA and you go hire an attorney. I give you a
Mhm.
specific example to work from. So for our audience here, that's really what the podcast is about. So you got your email queued up, Vicky? I think we worked on your script. What was
Not yet. It's for some reason my internet is very, very slow today.
okay? So why don't you cue that up, and we'll come back to your email in a second. I'm going to move on to the next part of our podcast here, and so if you cue that up, that will be great, and we'll come back to it. So now I want to shift gears because last week we were supposed to talk about the best long-term strategy for your business, and I want to address that this week because we spent so much time last week about a few other things. So in our strategy here, as a business owner, you got to have a long-term strategy. So if I'm coming here, I'm going to come to strategy. And we talked about best short-term strategy last week, which is one of the top is be a subcontractor, go after micro purchases, go after SAP opportunities. But now we're talking about best long-term strategy for your business. Okay, so let's address some of these best long-term strategies. Top of the list is you need a mentor-protege relationship. And through the mentor-protege relationship, you also set up a joint venture. Now, if you're thinking, okay, what is a mentor-protege? What is a joint venture? I'll take a quick second to kind of break that down a little bit for everybody here. So in the government market, you could be a prime, which means you're direct to the agency, right? So that's one way. Or you can be a sub to the prime, right? This is another way. Or you can be in a teaming. So in a teaming, it's company A plus company B, and so in a teaming, two companies bid on a project together through a team agreement. One of them is the prime and the other one is the sub. So that's a teaming. Now in a joint venture, it's a little different. So in a joint venture, you actually form a new LLC. So the new LLC is the prime. So company A and company B, they come and they form an LLC. It's called ABJV LLC. You can name it whatever. I'm just using this as an example here. So the two company A and B comes together. They go and form a company called ABJV LLC, and this is the company. This is the one that is registered. This company in SAM, and this is the company that bids on contract. Both of them are a part of the JV, and both of them are obligated to succeed. Now, when you're dealing with a large company, you cannot form a joint venture with a large company and not have issues with SBA. If you're a small business and you have a large company that you're forming a JV with, the government wants you to do an MPA. A MPA is a mentor protege agreement. And then through the mentor protege agreement, the mentor is the large company, and then the protege is the small business. So that's really the breakdown. So this is your first long-term strategy: is how do you position your company to the point where you can form a joint venture, especially with a large company. Now, Vicky, we got a long way to go before we can get you set up with a mentor protege, because what a large company is looking for you in a business is they're looking for you to have industry expertise in the very niche area that they may not have or they want to expand into. They have their own capabilities, but they're leveraging your small business to open more doors for them. They want to leverage your small business to go after set aside contracts. They want to leverage your small business to go after sole source contracts. So that's what a large company is interested. Now, I've brought multiple companies and matched them up in joint ventures and mentor project relationships. I've done a lot of teaming arrangements, helping companies come and team with each other. I do that on a consistent basis. So if you are in a place where you need potential teaming partners, keep watching the podcast. We cover all of those things there. Um, and then we also talk about um, how to go and do this practically. Now, one last thing about mentor protege. As a small business, if you are 8A women-owned, veteran-owned business, you can only have two mentors. One mentor in your primary NAICS code and another mentor in your secondary NAICS code. So you cannot have, now you can have multiple mentors, unofficial mentors, but to be in the SBA approved mentor protege program, you can only have two mentors. Now, some states have their own mentor protege program. Like I've got a friend who's with the University of Florida. They have a University of Florida mentor project program. The state of Georgia has a state of Georgia mentor project program. There's lots of different mentor project programs out there. The mentor project I'm speaking about here is with the SBA for federal contracts. So that's one of your best long-term strategy is to work towards a MPA. Now, a second strategy is to open up a office in the DMV area. DMV or NCR. Anybody know what DMV or NCR stands for? And no, I'm not talking about the Department of Motor Vehicle. And no, I'm not talking about the National Cash Register Company, which is a Fortune 500 company. These are governees, right? Because you're here, I'm teaching you governees. Vicky, do you remember DMV? Okay, Takia beat you to it. DC, Maryland, Virginia. All right, who knows NCR? Anybody? Vicky, you remember NCR? Anybody else? Takia, you should know this. If you know DMV, you should know this. Okay, all right. So you guys learned a new governees word today. NCR stands for the National Capital Region. Some of us, we call it the Beltline Bandits, right? Anything around the Beltline around DC, you're working for the government or you're a government contractor or you're married or you're related to somebody who's taking money from the government. And so these are governees term here. All of you should be familiar with these terms because if you're dealing with a large company, they're gonna say, "Oh yeah, let's next time you're in the DMV area, let's hang out." Or if you're meeting with a small business specialist from the Army, and they're a contracting officer or they're a small business specialist and they're based out of the DC area, they're just going to use terminology like this. Hey, next time you're in the NCR area, I'd love to meet you. But if you don't understand this here, you're like NCR, I mean the National Cash Register. They're headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia, and so. But get familiar. Can I team with a company based in DMV versus opening a new office? That is a great strategy. Uh, but that strategy is a short-term strategy, Takia. Your long-term strategy is you need a office in the DMV area. So short-term is you team with somebody that's in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. Long-term strategy is it doesn't matter if you're based in California, if you're based in New York, but you want to have a presence in the DMV because if you're doing federal contracting, the highest concentration of contracting officers are in the NCR DMV area. You step out the door, somebody is either a contracting officer, somebody's working for the government. It open doors, open relationships, easier for you for long-term purposes. And I know people that as they start to grow now, if you're under 5 million, may not be the best time. But if you're approaching 10, $20 million in revenue, then you might want to consider open. It doesn't have to be a big office, just a small office, 2 desks. That's fine. You just want a presence there. And then maybe once a month, or every other month you travel up there, the next time you hire someone, you hire someone that's in the DMV area. So this is a very good long-term strategy here. Now, for some of you, you might want to be in Huntsville, Alabama. We consider Huntsville the DC of the South. I believe the last time I looked, there's more flights from Huntsville to DC than in any other place. People get up in the morning at 5 a.m. They fly from DC to Huntsville. They work, and then at 6 p.m. they fly back to DC. Um, and so between Huntsville and DC, this is contract capital of the South for Huntsville. Space Coast is all around Florida, right? Florida, from Kennedy Space Center to all of that, we consider that Space Coast. And then military base, all over the place. And so if you're like, okay, hey, where's a military base near me? There is a website, right? So there is a website, and no, not this one. Now there's another one. Oh, wrong button. Military bases. Oh, it used to pop right up on the first page. Oh, so maybe they changed the website and to where it's a little bit different, but there is a map and I guess you have to do it through this method now. So if you're in California, you click on California, and it tells you all the different military base in California. If you're in Ohio, you click on this here. These are all the military bases in Ohio. I believe that the alien that was found in Roswell was moved to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. So if you want to see aliens, you want to go work in Ohio at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, because you'll see the aliens that supposedly was in Roswell. It was moved here. Not that I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I enjoy interesting topics like that there. Okay, so military bases, that's part of your strategy in terms of having a strategic location close to a military base. DoD collectively, they have 550,000 facilities worldwide, and each one of them have multiple buildings and locations and so forth. So lots of opportunities as it relates to different places like that. So coming back to our long-term strategy, we're going to wrap it up in a little bit here. You want to be a generalist. You start off by being a specialist. And here's what I mean by that. In the commercial market, right? In the commercial market, if you are a generalist, you don't make a lot of money. If you're a specialist, if you're expert, or if you're a celebrity expert, you make the most money. In fact, we have a celebrity expert who's running for president right now. But here's what I mean by celebrity expert. Barbara Corcoran on Shark Tank, right? She is a celebrity expert around real estate. That's how she got started. But she's expanded her celebrity status to beyond just real estate. So, but if you're a generalist, you don't have a lot of opportunities in the private sector. If you're a celebrity, you have the best opportunity. This is true in the commercial market, but it's not true in the government market. It's the opposite of that in the government market. So let me finish my example with the private sector. So I'm gonna use real estate as an example. If you're a real estate agent and you have a real estate license, you can say, "Oh, I'm a real estate agent," and someone says, "What are you, a buyer's agent or you're a seller's agent?" And you say, oh no, I represent both. That means you're a generalist. They say, oh, which do you specialize in which area? Oh, I do, anything from $10,000 to $1 million property I can do. And I'm all over the city. So you're more of a generalist. And as a generalist, you don't make a lot of money because you're too broad, too wide in the commercial sector. If you are a specialist, now here's what I mean by that. As a real estate agent, you say, oh no, I represent only sellers. Then you can market to sellers and you can become really good at that as a specialist. Now, if you are a expert specialist, meaning that I am a real estate agent and I specialize $1 million or higher listing, and I only specialize in the Hollywood area, or I only in Atlanta, Buckhead, right? I only specialize in Buckhead because there's a lot of properties over $1 million in Buckhead. So you can be a expert in one area and you have the most opportunity because people seek out expert for something specific like that. Or if you're a celebrity expert, then you make the most money because now your brand is more valuable than even your expertise. So that's the commercial market. But in the government market, the opposite of that is true. In the government market, it doesn't, your name, a contracting officer, they might be, oh, you're Barbara Corcoran and you're trying to do, government contracting. They don't really care about that, right? Because it's all about your proposal. It's about you being compliant. It's all about you being able to perform. So in the government market, celebrity status have very little value. Expert is good, specialist is fine, but a generalist is better. Why do I mean? What do I mean by that? Let's take plumbing as an example. If you are a plumber and you say, "Hey, I'm a plumber," you're looking for opportunities, and there's not a lot of plumbing projects. Not that every single building needs a plumber, but you're not going to see a lot of plumbing projects. And you're thinking, why is it I don't see a lot of plumbing project? Because that's not how the government buys. The government's not looking for an expert plumber. Of course, they want someone who is an expert, but they're not going to put out a plumbing project because there's too many specialty niche markets out there. And so the contracting officer, when their building needs support, give you a practical example here. They're going to award it to a facilities management company or an asset management company. And then the facilities management, asset management company, they handle the maintenance, they handle the carpet cleaning, they handle the plumbing, they handle the landscaping, they handle the roofer, they handle the electrician. The generalist handles the plumbing part. So if you're looking for plumbing, you're not going to see a lot because they're awarding it to someone who is more of a generalist in the government market. So this is a long term. Now, if you're new in the government market, start off with exactly the expertise that you're good at. Because if you try to be a generalist too early, it becomes problematic because you have to, because one is you're trying to learn governese and then you're trying to learn all the other industries is too much. So focus on maybe 3 core areas. You may be good at 20 different things, but focus on 3 core areas. Get a little bit of contracts going, get some, micro purchases, get some projects going, then work your way to being a generalist. The government, when they need a building done, if the FBI is building a new construction building, I promise you, they're not going to hire the electrician. They're not going to hire the plumber. They're not going to hire the roofer. They're not going to hire the brick masonry person. They're not going to hire the paving company, the concrete company. They're going to hire a general contractor or they're going to hire a design build firm and let the general contractor or design build firm hire the plumber, electrician, brick masonry, all these specialty contractors. So the government tends to bundle contracts. Sometimes they call it categorization of projects because the contracting officer, they don't want, to build the FBI building. They don't want to manage 30 different companies. They want to manage one company and let that one company manage 30 subcontractors. So that's how they operate. So your long-term strategy is to become more of a generalist long-term. And then let's move on to item 4 as we plan to wrap up here. So another long-term strategy is you got to think about your exit strategy. What's your exit strategy? Are you trying to build a legacy company where you pass this off to your family, to your kids? If this is the case, then you want to build passive income for yourself. You might want to have good cash flow and good ROI, and you hand it to your family. Or is it where you're trying to build your company to sell? If you're building your company to sell, then what somebody is interested in is they're interested in the contracts, the long-term contracts that you have, the IDAQ contract, the GWAC contracts that you have. They're interested in these things here. They're looking at your past performance. They're buying your past performance. They're buying the relationships that you have, the people that you have, they want your chief operating officer, your CEO to stick around. They want your CFO to stick around. They're buying your IP, your assets. They're buying relationships that you have. So when you're selling a business, it's a different thing. Yes, they look at your cash flow because they do look at your EBITDA, right? They look at your brand reputation. They look at the relationship you have. They're looking at your SOP, right? Standard operating procedures. They're looking at your profit and your financials. If you're leaving it to your kids, they don't care about your financials, right? Your kid's not going to say, "Dad, I don't want your company because your financial you don't know what a balance statement is or a balance sheet is. You don't have any cash flow statement and so forth." So your kids, yeah, they might be interested in profit, but your financial statements, they might not even think about. But if you're selling your company, absolutely, they're interested in that. So different approach in how you build your business for long-term purposes. And then you also want to look at what's your long-term strategy in terms of building your company long-term as it relates to revenue. There's three types of revenue that you want to build. I call it the 3 L's, right? 3 L's: linear, leverage, and longevity equals a legacy company. So if you want to build a company that you can sell, a company that you can leave to your kids, you need three types of revenue: linear, leverage, and longevity. Linear is easy, the easiest to come about. Linear is this here, Vicky. You go bid on a contract, and they say, "I want you to renovate uh, this office space," and you renovate it, and they pay you for it. That's considered linear revenue. You exchange time for money. You exchange services for money. You exchange a product for money. It's very transactional, and it's a typical one-off. Linear is the easiest type of revenue to generate, and it's the quickest, but it's not necessarily the best long term. Leverage revenue is you're leveraging other people's money, other people's time, other people's expertise, other people's products, other people's services. So leverage is what teaming is about, right? Vicky, you do not need to go buy a courier van. You just need to partner with a company that has a courier van. That's leveraging other people's equipment, right? Leveraging other people's services. So leverage revenue is a great strategy for long-term purposes because it saves you time and resources and other people's time. You don't need to learn how to write proposals. You just need to have a proposal writer that's part of your team, or you need to bring in a business partner that knows how to write proposals. And so their time is valuable to you. And you don't need to go to college to learn how to be a general contractor to do construction. You just need to work with a company that has a general contractor license already. So that's what I mean by leveraging OPT and so forth. Now, the third type is longevity revenue. This is what we call passive income, right? Passive revenue, recurring revenue. And some of you love this here, right? Is money when you sleep. Even when you're sleeping, you're making money. As you know, here's a very quick example. Um, so this is one of my really subtle passive income. Um, right? So I created this class, and it's on the market for $79. How to create a powerful capability statement. I've had 673 students on it, and I don't do really much anything with it. Every month, I get an email that says you made so much money from Udemy. They just puts into my bank account, and they just say, "Oh, you made so much money this month." Did it once, and money keeps coming in, right? So this is the type. This is an example of passive income, but but and some people do this here, right? Where they create multiple courses and they sell it on Udemy. So some people do that. I just did because this is a class that I teach. I put it on Udemy so that we can get more students understanding capability statement. So that's not necessarily a passive revenue stream that I want to build around long term. It's just one example of a passive revenue stream. Um, but if you do something once and you keep making money, then that is more longevity. Like for example, a company that I coached called Celltech. So this is the company that you know I was helping out. They bid on government contracts, but what they did was the the Navy wanted a budgeting software, and they said yes, we will provide this for you, and our price is going to be a little bit lower than everybody else, but we want to retain the rights to the software. Because when you create something for the government, it's called work for hire, right? It belongs to the government. It belongs to whoever you're creating it for. They retain the rights to the software. The government gets to use it. They develop it for the Navy. The Navy gets to use it at the cost of whatever the development is and the maintenance on an ongoing basis, but they retain the rights to it. So they can actually sell that to other agencies, but they built it once. Now they can keep using that for making money for multiple different. So passive um, or recurrent revenue is you do the work once and it keeps making money for you. That's really my definition of what is longevity revenue, right? Is more passive, more recurring. You do it once and money keeps coming. Now you may have to maintain the software a little bit and so forth. There may be some minor upkeep or updates, but money keeps coming in. So longevity revenue, very important for you and your business. You got to have a strategy for that there. And sometimes you create your own products, develop your own widgets. You can white label some other people's products. So that's really what we are addressing. Now, there's other long-term strategies too, but because of time, this is a good stopping point here for us. And so I want to encourage you guys to look at your 3 L's. How is it for you as it relates to your linear revenue? Do you have any leverage revenue in place? And you absolutely must explore how do you get longevity revenue? And Vicky, this is true for you too, right? We're starting off with linear revenue. We need teaming partners. We need to get some bid on some projects so you can get some linear revenue going. But then we need to start thinking, okay, how do I leverage uh, all these other things here? And then we need to think through what's your long-term goal and how are you going to build passive revenue and recurrent revenue for your company. So with that, I will pause here to see if there's any final questions or comments, and then we're going to wrap up our podcast for the day here. So Vicky, any questions? NCR is the National Capital Region, for those of you who are wondering. I think Takia asked that question there. Vicky, any questions?
No questions.
Okay. Any other questions from anybody else before we wrap up here? Well, it's been fun having all of you here. Vicky, I will see you next week and we will continue with your contracting journey. I'd like to hear some more good news about teaming partners coming and being onboarded. So that would be awesome to hear. And then we will cover some more topics next week. Takia, yes, National Capital Region. That is correct for NCR. Everybody, thanks for joining us. And if you're watching this on replays, please click on the notification bell, like and subscribe so that when next time we do a live episode, you can join us again. Have a good one, everybody. Take care.